Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I happened to get the Valkyrie out. Thought it'd be a beautiful day for that. It's a little cool. I mean, but still, I think it's supposed to be like 70 today or so. So, just had an opportunity. Figured I'd take it and let you guys enjoy the ride with me. I meant to take her out the other day. Unfortunately, my enrichener little switch there snapped off when I was trying to get her going. I was like, that is rather unfortunate. I literally just bought new grips for this bike, and of course they're glued in place because that's how they have them set up. And I didn't even have a chance to ride this bike yet, and I snapped that off. And I was like, come on, brand new grips. Just put them on there. And now I'm gonna have to try to figure out how to take them off without buying brand new grips again. But I go, well, let me see if I can kind of fix it first. And right now it's working. It is ironically super glued together. But I think I have enough space. If it does break temporarily again, I can still make it engage enough to get the bike going. So I was like, well, I still have to decide if I want to replace that ring, because I mean it is a solid plastic ring that goes around it. And then if I do that, do I want to replace the cable behind it as well? I might do that. Well, we'll see. Right now this is working. I might just have it on order and then have it as a spare part sitting around the house. And then when this does break again, go ahead and replace it then. So that might be how I set that one up. We'll see. But with that happening to this bike, it's like, it made me realize how, like, that was one of the reasons I got this bike for, is it's something I want to work on, be able to work on in the garage. But if something were to happen to my Tiger like that, I mean, yes, it doesn't have carburetors, it doesn't have that kind of enrichener. But like the Tiger has a key fob on it, and there was a year ago when I got the bike, and the key fob already died within 6 months of owning that motorcycle. And I didn't know exactly, and that was my mistake as being the owner and operator of that bike. I knew where the key fob had to touch in order for it to release the bike when it's locked. But it took me a couple times to get the sequence right. And I was kind of overcomplicating it, unfortunately. But that's the thing. It's like so much digital junk and things that, how do you go around that? And I love the bike. The bike is great to ride. It's fun. It gets me into a little bit of trouble just because I want to go a little faster on it. But it's like, if something goes wrong, alright, I gotta take it to the shop, and then it's down for however long the shop needs it. And not saying that if there's something goes wrong with this, it's not like I can fix it in the garage. I'm not a mechanic of any sort, just, like, okay, I can watch videos and try to figure it out. But it's just like, I miss how simple things used to be. Like, I understand I'm older, and I don't mind doing things by hand, but I miss the simplicity of like, oh, a carburetor, here's how this works. Even if you want to go basic fuel injection, because it's potentially more reliable in various, temperatures and elevations for air-fuel mixture. That's great. But it goes back to the whole, if something goes wrong, how can we fix it? And so it's like, as much as I love this bike now, and this one I'm not planning on getting rid of until it somehow dies, and hopefully not by something stupid by me, but you never know. But like when the Tiger, because I use that one for my daily ride to work, so I mean it gets about 400 miles a week on that bike. So when I get it into the 60,000 mile range, or so, depending on how I feel reliability of that bike, I'm almost debating on if I want to try to actually step down to another used bike, if I could find something like, not like this model, but something in this design where it's, this thing had just under 16,000 miles when I bought it, you know. Would I find a bike like that where it's a 10 to 15,000 mile on it on the odometer, that's just someone, you know, bought it for whatever reason in their life, just never got around to riding it, and now needs to get rid of it in the design of what I want. So like, I don't think I'd want to do two cruisers in the garage. Maybe, I mean, who knows, you know, 5-10 years down the road what my personal riding style is going to be like. But if I found like an older sport touring bike like the FJR, I don't know if I'd want to do a BMW just for the, because even an older model, I'm not sure the mechanical skills on that one would be. I know I saw a Triumph, was it the Sprint? I thought that was kind of interesting. But yeah, it's interesting that I'm like now, maybe it's just because of how old I am, I'm enjoying the concept of like, oh, you know what, I could have this, it works as it is, I can work on it in the garage as long as I can find something for parts. And so far, I mean, I've been able to find websites that have had parts for this thing, even like OEM stuff, or things that are, even Amazon has like the switches, you know, for aftermarket. I was like, huh, you know, $50, do an Amazon purchase and get a new switch case, all cables and everything already installed. Or I can go to another, I think it was like on, no, it wasn't Part Sale, it was like Moto Sport or something, I don't know, I have to look at the website again. So it's like, oh, I can order, I mean, that website found the actual, you know, switch for this thing and that cable. So it's like, oh, well, okay, so I can still find parts for it. Was always a concern. That was actually the concern with the Harley, is that one of the last times I brought in for something, I forget what happened to it, but they're like, oh yeah, this year is no longer a model we'll be servicing. And I'm like, so if the dealership, at least that specific dealership, won't, and they were the closest one to me, you know, work on the motorcycle, it's like, well, cool, now where do I take it then? And there's aftermarket, you know, sites, or not sites, shops that would, you know, work on a bike of that year. It's just, and I just have to learn what to trust them and things like that. And of course, same with your own dealership, you have to trust the people that are working on it. Hopefully they're not trying to scam you, but yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of debating on if once I get the Tiger long in the tooth and everything, would I want it to go look for something that's 20 years old, that just has low mileage like this thing. This is a 1998, 16,000 miles on it. It runs beautifully, it starts right away. You know, I might need to still, I mean, I did get this windshield on it aftermarket, which I added. I did the grips. I'm sitting on a new seat right now. I just ordered for it. Like, it runs beautifully. It's just glides over stuff. Suspension, you know, of course, it's nowhere near like the suspension of the Tiger. Just because, I mean, it's a digital newer system. But it's like, it's pretty comfortable. I was trying to see if this new seat would help with any, you know, back kind of feeling to it. I was hoping to get something that had a backrest. The only one I could find was higher budgeted, at least for a new one, than I wanted to spend. So I got one that has like just a natural slight bend in it. Actually, I should probably pull over and show you guys the look of this thing right now. And then maybe I'll go up to a gas station. You can kind of view it. But yeah, it's just like cool. I can still find, some companies still make stuff for these things. So it's like, well, beautiful. It didn't take away from the aesthetics of the bike initially. I mean, putting on the quick releases for this windshield that wasn't designed for it. Well, it was designed for it, but it wasn't factory made. It did make me move the turn signals down. But overall, it has a quick release on it, so I can just pop it off whenever I want. But it's a gorgeous thing, and it runs. Starts up right away. Only thing I gotta remember, this is my first bike that has a carburetor on it. I did go the other day, I was like, oh, I'm riding, I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to turn on the fuel, and I was like 2 miles away from the house already. It's like, I'm surprised the actual carbs had enough fuel and would run this far. So I just make sure I set my trip every time I fill up gas, so I know how much fuel I feel comfortable with in it. So I was like, okay, if I get about 100 miles, I should probably find a gas station just to be safe. Do I know what, I don't know what gear I'm in. I could just go, okay, actually I'm probably running this one a little low right now because I'm under 3,000 RPMs. That's a 5-speed. I'm probably in 5th gear right now with the speed I'm doing. Everything else is fine. The brakes are weak. I will give it that. For as big as this bike is, the brakes could use some loving. So I'm not sure if that's I know the guy bought or redid the fluids on it when I bought this, and the pads got life to them. So I don't know if I want to try to find an aftermarket upgrade kit to a larger caliper or a brake pad system. I don't know. That might be something that we'll see. But it doesn't feel spongy, so I don't think it's like airlines or air issue. I might take apart the brakes just to see if they need to get rebuilt, because I don't know if that got done on this. But yeah, they are very, the old term of braking is a suggestion than a definition. And that's where technology is greater, like the AV brush brakes and the technology that's in the tire. The thing is, stops real, so you're more confident to be a little closer to people than you probably safely should be, because the bike's abilities are there to help you cover. But again, I'm an older generation, so for me, I don't mind leaving space between me and the car in front of me. And unfortunately, then it means a lot of people cut me off in the process, but hey, that is what it is. But it doesn't negate just the beauty of being on this thing. It's just interesting. It just rides. It runs, does what I ask it to do. I did order saddlebags for this, but I was having troubles getting them on, and then just kind of, when I had them mocked up, I was like, I just kind of didn't really get the feeling, so I just left them in the garage for now. But it's just amazing how something so simple as this bike is, and the enjoyment it gives me, that it doesn't have to have all the technology, the throttle by wire, okay, the disc brakes would be a nice safety feature. Adjustable ride height. The bike is what it is. It doesn't complain. At least not now. This is actually a pretty busy gas station today. Alright guys, well, with my ranting, I think I'll call this one a day. Thanks for coming along. Hope you find something that brings you joy. Doesn't always have to be the most newest and fanciest thing in there on the showroom floor. Just be safe with it. Enjoy spending time with your bikes. Till next time though, be safe and have fun. Take care.